You probably know Paget Brewster from shows like Criminal Minds and Friends, but before she got those roles and the success she has today, during her younger years, her parents gave her permission to do something very horrific in their desperation to get their daughter the success they so craved. It might at first sound like not so big a deal when you hear what they gave her permission to do, but you start to get how horrifying such a move is once you start thinking about the many lives it has destroyed in the industry. So what is it? Well, let's find out while showing you some of her rare photos. Paget Brewster is most famous for her role as Emily Prentice on the long-running mystery drama series Criminal Minds. Despite the fact that she is one of the most loved characters in the show's history, her role is shrouded in controversy and drama. Before Criminal Minds, Paget had no dreams of becoming a Hollywood sex symbol. Paget grew up in the relatively small town of Concord in Massachusetts, and she lived a fairly average childhood. She was a college dropout, but not for lack of passion or ambition. On the contrary, during her first year at New York's prestigious Parsons School of Design, Paget took on a few small acting roles. She loved it so much that she kicked up her design studies, moved to San Francisco, and enrolled in acting classes to pursue acting as a full-time career. Paget's intro into acting was a bumpy one. She struggled to land decent auditions and would settle for anything that came her way, from prostitutes to nannies. During the mid-90s, she dedicated herself to her newfound passion, and in 1995, basically still unknown in the world of television, she landed her own TV talk show, The Paget Show. It ran for 65 episodes, but her real break came when she got a guest appearance in the hit TV comedy Friends.
Oh, we were just talking about you.
She played 6 episodes in season 4 as the sexy love interest to Joey and Chandler. The love triangle nearly ruined Joey and Chandler's friendship. Kathy was eventually written out of the show after she fell in love with yet another man. And here's a fun fact for you. Paget landed the role of Kathy almost by accident. As she once revealed in an interview when she turned up to the audition, there were several well-established and beautiful actresses who were auditioning for the same part. Paget immediately felt intimidated and just accepted right from the get-go that she could not compete with the other more attractive and more talented actresses. But her self-deprecating attitude was what saved her. Since she had already given up on the role, it allowed her to be more relaxed and to just be herself. When it was her turn to audition, she just straight out told the casting crew and the executive producer, Kevin Bright, "Clearly I'm your runty alternate, so let's just get this show on the road." But much to her utter astonishment, everyone immediately fell in love with her natural sense of humor. Matthew Perry was sitting there and Kevin Bright, and they all said to me, "The moment you called yourself a runt, you have the part." However, a terrible drama ensued even before filming started, and she feared that she had lost the role. Apparently, the show's hairdressing team had cut her hair short and dyed it red. This shot the co-creator into a mad frenzy, and he started screaming furiously at the hairdressers. Paget thought her career was over before it even began. "I just went upstairs, I put my magazines in my bag, and I just sat and waited like, I lost my best job I've ever gotten." Nevertheless, the anger and upset wasn't directed at Paget, and she obviously didn't lose the job. Friends fans also immediately fell in love with her, and it opened the door for her into the acting world. By the mid-2000s, Paget was landing roles left and right and had appeared in a range of successful TV shows and films. However, she had her mind set on being a movie actress, and she deliberately pushed television roles to the side. I just thought, oh, you're not an actor unless you're doing movies. At one stage, she was working on 4 films at once and flying back and forth all over the country to film in various locations, working on different productions. She was living out of her suitcase and hopping between random hotels. Sounds like she was making it big in Hollywood, but the opposite was true. It wasn't long before it started taking its toll on her health, both physically and mentally. I realized that I hated shooting movies. It's a lousy life. You're tired, you never see your friends or family, and you're doing your laundry in the bathtub, and I just thought it was lonesome. As soon as filming finished on her multiple films all at once, Paget phoned her agents. "Guys, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I want to do a TV show," she told them. It would turn out to be the best decision of her entire career. Paget was actually sitting at home and watching Criminal Minds. At the time, she was a huge fan of everything that had anything to do with serial killers and true crime. So imagine her surprise when her agents phoned her with an offer to audition for the 2nd season of the show, whilst she was watching it. At the time, Criminal Minds producers were looking for a replacement for one of their leading female characters, Elle Greenaway, who was played by Lola Glaudini. Glaudini resigned her role because, as rumor had it, she was unhappy living in Los Angeles where the show was being filmed. With her abrupt departure from the show, producers had to scramble to find a replacement. This left the door wide open for Paget, who joined Criminal Minds in 2006 as Agent Emily Prentice in the 9th episode of Season 2. Her character was originally written as a lesbian, but they eventually decided against it. Not that Paget had any quarrels with the idea. In fact, she was quite open to it. She even knows who she'd want to play her female lovers if the producers ever decided that her character should come out of the closet. And it's none other than Gwendolyn Christie, who played Brienne of Tarth on Game of Thrones and also on Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper. Paget seems to have a crush on her. I think those two ladies are exceptionally talented at what they do and very sexy, Paget said. But on the flip side, Paget had not even been on Criminal Minds for a full 4 seasons when she was met with some devastating news. The producers wanted her gone, she was fired. What ensued was nothing but a horror show of drama and turmoil. Her agents fought the show's producers and managed to secure 17 more episodes for her. However, Paget was too hurt to go on and convinced the producers to just simply kill off her character right away, and so they did. Emily Prentice died in Season 6, Episode 18. And by the way, she wasn't the only female cast member to be given the boot. Jennifer Giroux, played by A.J. Cook, was also sent packing. According to most sources, the producers cited budget cuts as the real reason for getting rid of Paget and Cook's characters. However, according to Paget, the real reason was far more sinister and had a lot more to do with sexism than with budget cuts. As she explained in some interviews, someone at CBS wanted new women on the show. So Paget and Cook were fired and a new face was hired. Instead of sulking and moping that her career was potentially over, Paget focused on breaking into comedy. A sharp contrast from her Criminal Minds character, you may think, but Paget actually had a taste of comedy acting early in her career. In fact, she is still recognized as Kathy from Friends even today. She also had a guest appearance on 2.5 Men. Paget also appeared in numerous comedy films and series, and also voice acted for a whole variety of comedy cartoons and animations. Meanwhile, as Paget's Criminal Minds replacement, the sexy Rachel Nichols starred as Agent Ashley Seaver. But it wasn't to last. The producers were forced to rehire Paget and Cook after furious fans demanded it. However, Paget didn't want to return as she was still too hurt. I was heartbroken, and it was easily one of the most hurtful things that's ever happened to be fired because they wanted new women. Sadly for Paget, she had no choice. Since her agents had already negotiated 17 extra episodes for her, she was contractually forced to return, and was threatened with terrifying things if she didn't. Once she complied and gave them their due episodes, she left the show again at the end of Season 7, only to return full-time again during the start of Season 12. Her character had since been promoted on Criminal Minds and is now one of the most important and most authoritative characters on the show. In her personal life, Paget has been married to musician and songwriter Steve Damstra since 2014. Her marriage was officiated by her close friend and Criminal Minds co-star, Matthew Gray Gubler. And here's some more great trivia about Paget Brewster for you. She almost made it into Playboy magazine. Early in her career, she received a handwritten note from Playboy asking her to pose nude for their magazine. She almost did, even asking her parents for permission, which they gave. She finally turned it down, apparently on the advice of her team. According to IMDb, she also does occasional photography for another nude magazine. Before her fame, Paget fronted a rock band called Mechanical Bride. And if the name Brewster sounds really familiar to you and you can't place your finger on it, here's why. Both Paget and Jordana Brewster come from incredibly famous and important ancestry. Maybe you can even see some resemblance? Paget Valerie Brewster was born on March 10, 1969 in Concord, Massachusetts, to parents Galen and Hathaway Brewsters. Both her parents were teachers, but that's not her famous lineage. Remember the historically famous ship, the Mayflower? It played a crucial part in America's history and some of the history behind Thanksgiving. Long story short, both Paget and Jordana are direct descendants of one of the Mayflower's most famous passengers, William Brewster. We bet most of you don't know this, or do you? If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.